My role within this project was to develop the software to allow Kate to conduct these performances under the Painting Music banner. So I developed software that allows Kate to give a multisensory performance where her drawings are broken down into meaningful data and fed into our music generation models. When Kate paints an object, our cameras pick that up and the AI or software basically analyses that and tries to understand what she's painting through numbers. And from that we were able to map that to musical attributes, and essentially we use that to generate music. It's genuinely the humans that dictate what they want more. Do they want, if we take paintings for example, do they want an AI generated painting, or do they want a painting that's had meaningful human effort put into it? And I firmly do believe, I think there will be an appetite for that in the future. And AI, as much as you can say it's incredible, it can only work off the data that it's trained on. It can't really deviate that far from the data it's been trained on, so you're never actually going to get anything truly novel. When you see AI generated art, it's generally like comic book type stuff, which is can be cool in one hand, but it does miss it comes across to me as cold. If I know it's AI generated, I'm almost thinking, all right, okay, cool. But if it's like something that somebody's done, I'm automatically more intrigued. I think the thing that humans offer is time and effort, true meaningful time and effort. When artists do create artwork, they're exposing themselves. What's AI exposing? It's inner workings, mathematical models. There's not really a romantic side to it, if I'm honest. And I think that's, for me, a key fundamental for choosing human-generated art over AI art. Albeit, you can get some really cool things out there, but I still, strongly believe that the process that humans go through in order to produce these beautiful images or sounds or anything, experiences, and often when they're novel processes, AI can't generate novel processes just now. It's simply mimicking what it's been trained on. What I think I would encourage artists to do is to see it as a tool, much like Kate has, to see if it can add to the performances, offer a new dimension. For Kate it's music. For musicians it could be visuals, reverse the painting music process altogether. That's a pretty cool way to do it. If I was an artist, I would see this AI revolution as an opportunity, not something to fear. I would encourage artists to work with AI, not be fearful for it, because there will always be an appetite for human generated art. It's quite funny. I've got no musical background whatsoever. I've never painted a painting in my life, but what technology, creativity and AI has allowed me to do is create this experience with Kate and Andy with painting music that combines all three and really does invoke people's wonder. And I've seen it with audience members. It's quite an incredible kind of thing to witness. You do start to think, wow, this is like an art form in itself in a way. So creativity has never been totally restricted to just the arts. There's actually a really cool quote above the engineering building in Aberdeen, and it was describing how engineers are just artists that are confined by the rules of physics, and that kind of struck a chord with me, particularly when I started working on painting music, because that's we're trying to push the boundaries a wee bit, explore people's wonder, try and answer the question, can people hear what they see, and things like that, in that confined space of the musical realm. When you add AI into the mix, it's really just an enabler for people to work with, explore different options, and also provide new experiences. And I think painting music beautifully summarises that. Kate I don't believe has any musical background, but she certainly can't play a trumpet when she's painting. So what the AI's enabled her to do is generate music that's generated from her painting. There's a clear link there, and that's quite impressive and does invoke wonder. Every conversation I've had, nobody's came up to me and said, that's impossible, you can't do that. People actually believe that it is achievable, and it does make sense, because every day when you look at a painting, you get an emotion. You hear a song, you feel an emotion, and it's on those kind of emotional level that we're trying to connect the two art forms so that they make sense on either side. And basically what we're doing by that is by abstracting data. So not taking the image at face value, but extracting the data, trying to predict why that makes somebody feel that way, and then portraying that through the music. And then again, when that means with Kate, with her themes such as is AI good or bad, with the paintings that she's doing, you know, and then you've got the music coming out. It's a very, very powerful experience. And again, you know, we've done it in small rooms like that, and there's been a bit of a buzz in the air. But we've also done it in large lecture halls where people are generally like, "Wow, this is crazy," and it does add that kind of extra, you know, punch of emotion, which is what we're trying to achieve for Kate's performance side anyway.